This is Chris Anson, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can use Aurora HDR as a smart filter. So when you first install Aurora HDR, one of the options is to tell it to install itself as a plugin for Photoshop, Lightroom, and some other applications. If you haven't done that, one of the things you can do is that you can start it up, and I'm going to show you the process. So I'm going to come down and I'm going to launch Aurora HDR 2019. And here in the drop-down menu, we have Install Plugins. From here, you can see that I've already installed it for Photoshop and for Lightroom Classic CC. If I had not, it would say Install here. And this is what you're going to want to do if you go into Photoshop and you don't see it as an option, or if you just know that you haven't done that. So now, let's open up the photograph that we're going to use for this example. And I'm opening this in Photoshop CC 2019. And so I've made these adjustments. One thing I want to show you though is if you come down to this bottom line, we click on it, and make sure you check the checkbox. So this will open this as a smart object. The reason I do this is so that when I open it and then double click on it again, I actually get back to the original raw information. Okay, so now we're back here. Now we have this as a smart object because we can see this little icon. Now to use Aurora HDR, we're going to come up to the filter drop down, come down to Skylum Software, and we're going to choose Aurora HDR 2019. That's going to take the image into Aurora HDR. We'll create the HDR. I'm happy with that. Let's click Apply. And that's going to bring us back into Photoshop. And since this is now part of a smart object, this filter is now editable, which means that let's say that I decide I want to tweak something in this. I come down to the Aurora HDR Smart Filter, I double click on it, and it takes me back in with all the previous settings intact. So now if I wanted to play with the tone curve and do that, and click Apply, it will take these changes back into Photoshop as well. So one last thing that I want to show you when you're using smart filters. If you turn off Aurora HDR like this to see the before, which is cool, and then we turn it back on again, because it doesn't know what you've done to the image during the time it was off, it will go back in and reset all those settings based on the way the image looks right now. It's going to apply all of them, it'll process it, and once it's done, it'll bring us back into Photoshop. And there you have it. That's how we use Aurora HDR with a smart object in Photoshop. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you found it helpful. Thanks for watching.